so 2017, you go over to Norway. If you could give everybody kind of a rundown, like what were you going for and what are these mysterious lights?
So when I was state director for Utah MUFON, I began to notice that there were a lot of instances, a lot of reports of lights in the sky. And a lot of people wanted to dismiss those lights in the sky because they were not doing research and clearly didn't know what they were talking about. So every case that came in was a Chinese lantern or yada, 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 even though it behaved in ways that Chinese lanterns couldn't behave. I mean, it's just ridiculous. So I saw that there was a need for me to go outside and to look for people like Dr. Massimo Teodorani, who's an Italian astrophysicist who worked with Project Hessdalen, and Ted Rowe, who's the executive director of NARCAP, who has done, there was a great research paper that they had on their website called Project Sphere talking about anomalous light phenomena. So I gravitated towards people like that who had a better idea of what we were dealing with, and they weren't just dismissing one case. This was a whole the whole spectrum, decade after decade. Norway was important to me because back in the 80s, there was a town, and they were a little village. They were besieged by UFO sightings, and it's only a population of 120, and they were concerned. I mean, there were these objects that were hovering above their homes, and they wanted to know what it was, and so they turned to the media. The media did a news story about that. And then, unfortunately, like this typically tends to happen, but people kind of descended on the town, thousands and thousands of people. They trashed the place. The media ended up making fun of these people. And it was really it was very heartbreaking, I think, to the people in that community. So Erling Strand and a group of his colleagues over in Norway, they decided that they wanted to do something about that. And that's one of the reasons I just admire him so much. But they assembled a team. They went out there and they were there for a few weeks, and they documented over 100 sightings of different objects, which is very profound. They went back to Oxford College and they obtained funding. And now 35 plus years later, they have an incredible place where they've got different stations. The Blue Box is the main hub, but they've got different stations that continually monitor things, and they're working with different scientists in Europe and all over to get funding to keep the project going. They take twice a year, and this is the coolest thing, and I wish we could ever be this progressive in the United States, but they take twice a year students from the engineering college at Oxford University, and they take them out there and they send them up to different locations in the brutal conditions. They set up their tents, they set up equipment, and then they're continuously for 2 weeks monitoring the activity, and they're teaching these students how to use science to progressively look into the Hessdalen phenomena. And so it's an amazing thing, and we don't hear about it here. And I'm always trying to talk about it because I think it's positive. It's they're not afraid. They're doing research. Mm-hmm. And it's so there's not a need to manipulate anything like there is in the United States. And there's something very real. I again had an interesting experience there that was not UFO related, but people see things, and it's a very incredible place. They've identified after 35 plus years 4 different types of light phenomena that behaves as if it is intelligently controlled or an intelligence. And that's huge.
Yeah.
And nobody knows about it here.